All right, let's go. If you are tired of not feeling fit, tired of just not having the focus, tired of just not having the financial resources that you deserve, this is your place to be. I'm Jason Yarusi. This is the Live 100 podcast, the place you come to break the habits that no longer serve you so you can get the life you truly desire. I want to talk to you about what's on my mind today. And truly, it's about looking at what's in front of you and then having an honest assessment about what is happening right now. What of it can I control? And what of it is outside of my control? And what comes to my mind is that, I've seen some things affect people lately, and many times they were outside of their overall control of the matter, right? But it laid heavy handed on them because mentally they weren't prepared to understand just the effects of just how to show up in the moment when something is out of your control. And your option is to work on truly your reaction and how you can control your reaction. Now, in many settings, that's not easy, right? It's very easy for us to say to do that. It's very easy for us to point it out. However, the more that we can go back and prepare ourselves daily by going in there and forcing hardness into our days, right? By going out there and doing the extra work, right? Potentially going and doing that extra rep in the exercise, going and putting yourself out there by testing yourself, by potentially, calling a client or trying to go door-to-door sales or just doing something that continues to stress your mind and put yourself in a place where you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Now, the reasoning behind this is that there's going to come a time when something's going to happen that's going to have to force you outside your comfort zone, whether or not you want to be there. And the more you can do this daily, where you can prepare yourself by putting yourself in positions to be outside your comfort zone, the more that you can thicken your skin, the more that you can get callous hands to be your mind, right? To callous your mind to be prepared. Now, this isn't saying to make your life miserable, to go out there and torment others. This is for you to be prepared for that moment in time is needed for when it is needed for you to step up, that you're truly in the right mind to make the most desired reaction, even if the result or the item that's happened is not perfectly ideal. So look at your life today and look at it of what is actually in your control. What is it that's happening right now that you can actually control in terms of the things that you're doing, the steps you're taking, and how are you reacting in those settings? Now, in a very similar question, how are you reacting to things that are outside of your control? Easiest example is the weather. If it's freezing out or rainy or snowy, is it just destroying your mood? Is it completely taking you outside of your game? Are you just completely thrown off on a day-to-day habits? Are you thrown off when someone cuts you off in traffic, right? Are there things that are happening in a moment that you're living in a wild capacity because you're focused so much on the external of things that are outside of your control? So if I can ask two things today, the first is look at what you can control and then look at how you're reacting to what you can. And the second is ultimately be present in the exact place where you stand today. And the second to me is many times harder to put it into our mind to be present and to be self-aware about being present. Because as you're listening to this right now, you may be thinking about what you have to do next, or you have been on a meeting today where you were thinking about what wasn't done right, and you may be with your kids thinking about the things that you've missed at work, or at work thinking about regretting that you didn't do something, or something happened in a meeting with your wife, or any of those moments where you're everywhere but nowhere at the same time. There's nothing more important in our life than to value the moments we have in our life and to be present in those moments when we're actually there, because they go by. What small thought or just a small moment in the setting actually are those things that you're going to look back and regret missing. So if you're at your kids' sport events, or you're going to their little holiday parties, or you have time with your wife, or you're working on a big business deal, be present to what you're actually doing, because you're going to look back and notice in the past, you're going to notice how you weren't truly there. And for your kids' sake, they're not going to remember that, dad worked 90 hours a week. They're going to remember when you were there with them, when you were, there on the floor, coloring or helping them teach to draw or to go color inside the lines. They're going to be present in those moments. You're not going to remember these 95 hours you put. And that's why it's so important that the time you're putting in right now, make sure you're using that time wisely. Don't take 2-hour lunches. Don't do all these things that waste time. Use your time for your life in a way that serves value to you and to others around you. Put yourself in a place that you're disciplined to seek great results when you're fully engaged in the moment. And I will find that if you're controlling what you can control, and you're being modest and temperamenting your reactions to things that you can't control, and you're truly being present where in fact your feet are, you will see a massive transformation in your life. Now, what are some tactics we can do, right? Some tactics is the next time that we start to feel our blood boil or we start to feel ourselves reacting, right? We could take a moment and take 5 deep breaths in and out. That pause will truly give you a moment of clarity to make a clear decision if your prior reaction was the right reaction for that time. Next, if you're not doing some form of silence or meditation, it could be 5 minutes in the morning, right? And if you don't have 5 minutes, that's a whole nother podcast, but 5 minutes for you to just sit there and just be in peace with just having quiet come into your mind. You can do this through prayer as well. And an exercise that I also like to do is for a self-awareness exercise. I do this with a lot of people we work with. Is imagine yourself with an out-of-body experience, sitting in a chair, watching you while you're going through your motions in a day, whether it's with your kids or your wife or at work. Is the person that's watching you going to be happy of what they see within themselves? Are they going to be satisfied with the principles that you hold to, with the reactions you're having, with the standards of quality that you're living to in your life? And if the answer is no, well, how do we get up to level up the standards in our life? How do we start to meet the criteria that truly is putting us on a road that's destined for greatness? Now, you come here to listen to Live 100 podcast because it gives you a roadmap to start the journey to the life that you want to have. Now, is it something that you should put down the life where you are? No, absolutely. This is absolutely not. This is where you stand today. And the most important piece about that and about self-awareness is understanding that you have to have a starting line. Where we don't get traction is that if our mind, we can't be truthful with ourselves, then we're never going to be able to be truthful in the steps that we need to take to get the desired results of the life we want. So find time in your day, take it back, use it in a way that's going to create value, not only for you, but for others around you. Be patient in the results, be present in the actions, and be truly in control of yourself so you can take the steps that are going to make a difference. And that's going to start right now. All right, so if this has added value for you, go down there and just leave us an honest rating and review. It helps us continue to get this podcast out to the masses. And if we can do anything for you, please reach out. Let's do this.